What's going on, guys? This is PJ, and I'm back once again with Essential Guy Talk. I am here at the table with James to my left. We switched things up. I usually have James to my right. A few weeks off.
I'm keeping you on your toes.
You are, man. You're keeping me on my toes. Good to be back.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm well.
You're good?
Yeah.
Things have been crazy around here, right?
I've been busy. Yes, thankfully.
Busy is good. Busy is good.
Yes.
This is our last show before the Christmas holiday and New Year's.
End of the year.
Yeah, man. But I definitely wanted to go out with a bang. I wanted some really tasty food, awesome business, and we're delivering that today. So over to my right, we have Michael Lucci. He is the owner and the artiste, the chef over at Pizzeria Lucci in Belmar, New Jersey. So if you've been in the area and you haven't been there yet, they've been open about 9-10 months now. Get on over Pizzeria Lucci. We're going to show you why. Mike, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So happy to have you here, man. We've been talking about it for about a month and a half, and we lined it up on the schedule. We were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
And glad to have you here, man. So
Awesome.
First and foremost, so you're in Belmar. You've been there for 9 months. How long did you know you were opening in Belmar before you actually opened?
I knew I wanted to stay on the shore. I looked pretty much, I know like that area was great because there's a decent amount of parking there. And where it's located is pretty nice because you have the train stations right there.
Yep.
You have all the highways kind of empty right there. You have 138, you have Route 18, you have 34, 35, the Parkway.
Yeah.
So, it was a good, I don't know, it just made sense for me to kind of try and find a spot.
Now you're a local guy. You were in Howell, right? That's where you went to high school. But
right.
So you started off and you were the founder and co-owner, right?
Right.
Of Rosie's over in Point Pleasant.
Oh, no kidding.
Ever been to Rosie's?
Yeah, I went to Rosie's. Rosie's is like one of those spots you can never get pizza from.
Exactly. Yeah.
My first pizza experience at Rosie's was during COVID.
Oh, that's why.
And you had to order ahead, right? Like schedule your pickup time, and it wasn't easy to get a pie.
No.
It was. It was a great system.
Excellent pizza.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved the system because if you got a pie, you knew when you were picking it up. You knew when you were ready to roll. A lot of people complained because you sold out at the end of the day, but you guys only had capacity to do a certain amount of pizza, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't sell out of dough. People think we just sold out of dough. We sold out of time.
Right.
So we sold time slots. That's
exactly
really what it was.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so we knew like, all right, we can make X amount every 15 minutes. So the phone lines would open at, we're going to open up the phone lines at, I don't know, was it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it was.
Yep.
And, we just started taking phone. It was like a, telethon for an hour straight.
It really was, man. I felt like I was trying to call the radio station to win a prize.
You are caller number one. You are caller number two.
It's like trying to get concert tickets back in the 90s.
Yep.
But, lines would open at 3 o'clock and it would be like nonstop for a solid hour. And when the time slots were done, and that was it. We turned the phones off. And that was it. Because we just couldn't produce anymore.
But look, at the end of the day, the phones were ringing like crazy because the pizza was fantastic.
Yeah, the pizza's really good.
Yeah, we created demand for it too.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to just sit here.
No,
I don't want it to just sit. I think
you have all that pre-production you had to wait for.
Great pizza needs to be eaten. So you brought a square pizza, which looks just mind-blowingly good.
What is that, Mike?
What is it? Tell us about it.
This is square. It used to be a square pie. It's a rectangular pie now that I make. But we do these for catering, but we also serve them as slices. So we don't offer the square pie.
Oh my God,
during
it's
regular
so
hours.
light.
You can't order one at 6 o'clock on a Friday. We're just not quite set. It's a different production,
right?
To make
different amount of time involved in making it.
Regular, traditional style.
You gonna grab a piece with us?
Yes, you are.
Come on, of course you are.
Yes.
Right, I'll take a center spot.
PJ, can you do me a huge favor when you're done with that? Can you break me off one of those paper towels back there?
Yes, sir.
A man with a beard can never eat pizza cleanly.
Did I give you one yet?
Yeah, I got one. Thank you.
All right. So,
so we do these for lunch for slices.
Okay.
When we started lunch, we wanted to just offer customers something a little more lunch friendly. Lunch is fast. It's a little bit cheaper. So I didn't want to do slices with a regular round pie, it's just not. It's tough. Everybody always wants like, oh, what's fresh, what's coming out of the oven. Well, these pies are great right here,
Right.
but as soon as they sit for about 20
God.
minutes or so, they kind of lose that shimmer and they kind of just kind of move on. So, but square pies hold up better at room temp.
Yeah, they really do.
We're just gonna we'll offer slices, but we're just gonna do square slices.
What I love about your square specifically is it looks like it would be a dense, heavy piece,
Yeah.
but it's light and airy, and it's crispy.
But not too airy. Like
Right.
I've had a pizza where it's kind of this style, but it's just too airy in the dough, and it's like too almost crunchy, like brittle, a little bit, like hollow. This is really good. The flavor of this is really good too.
Now, right away,
Parmesan.
lots of garlic, right?
Yeah, I like garlic.
I love the garlic in the air. Like right when you walked in here, I was like, "Oh, we're in for it tonight." 'Cause you can just smell the garlic. It just smells amazing.
Yeah.
Fresh basil on it. You use high quality ingredients. That's obvious, but everybody could have the same ingredients and not come up with what you've done.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get into pizza?
So I guess I'll start from the beginning. After high school, I went to college. I didn't like some people. They go right into culinary right out of high school.
Yeah.
They'll go to Votech for its. I went to college. I went to West Virginia for a few years, thinking I was going to be a doctor or
Yeah.
whatever. Realized that's not going to happen.
Dr.
went-
Pizza.
But you went
Pete-
pre-med?
What's that?
You started going pre-med?
I think I was a psych major in the beginning. I don't even know what I was, to be honest.
That was just your first instinct?
That was like
your
my
thought?
yeah. I'll start off as a psych major, and we'll just kind of go from there. But realizing like I'm not good at stuff that I don't really care about.
Have a
And-
passion for, right?
Yeah.
So you've always had a passion for food?
Or for pizza in particular.
Yeah.
I think pizza for me. So, I've always had a passion for food. Growing up in an Italian household.
Yep. Yeah, last
even
name's
as a-
Lucci.
Yeah, at a young age, every Sunday it was at my grandparents' house. Either we went there, or they came to us, and my great grandmother lived with us all the way up through high school, pretty much. And it was always everything was centered around food. What are we gonna eat?
Yeah.
That was just as soon as lunch was done, okay, what's for dinner? Let's start planning our next meal. And
That's an Italian household. I had a
yeah.
100% Italian mother,
yeah,
and it was the
yeah.
same exact way. Lunchtime, you're discussing dinner options.
That's it.
Yeah.
Breakfast is over. Okay, what are we doing for lunch?
What are we doing for lunch?
Yeah. No, that's doesn't get any more Italian than that. So
how did you jump into pizza?
so I was sitting in the library one day in college and realizing, I can go to culinary school. It just popped in my head out of nowhere. So I Googled, just culinary schools, and FCI, French Culinary Institute, popped up. And lo and behold, they have an Italian program that they just started like 2
Really?
years prior.
Oh, wow.
So I looked at it. I hit the, request more information, and then within a minute later, I was getting a phone call from there, from the recruiting office, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we can get you. Yeah, we can get you in here." It's like, "Oh, I'll be home in May," and it's, "Oh, great, we can get you in May. You can come up, tour the campus, the facilities. We'll hook you up with dinner and all that stuff at our restaurant." Cool. We went there.
That alone, even if you didn't join, you have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little wine and dine, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Get to enjoy their meal.
Yeah, my father and I went up there. It was great. They put on a show for you, but it was awesome just being in the city. So I ended up going, and the cool thing about this program is that they take you to Italy for 4 months.
Do they really?
So that was part of the program.
Wow.
You do training in New York, and the awesome thing about you can go to CIA, Culinary Institute of America, up in like the Hudson Valley, and that's an awesome program. But the awesome part about this was like you're in New York City.
Yeah.
You're in like this incredible food mecca, and there's something about it was like after leaving class, you can just walk to these like amazing markets.
Right.
Like Italy just opened up, and being young, like you never saw anything like that. So like, we all like ran over there, and just like it was like a museum. You're like looking at all the olive oils, the pastas, all the charcuterie and the butchery that they had there, the fish, just stuff that you never knew existed. Just opened up this whole world to you. So you're there for a few months doing some kitchen training and all, and then you go to Italy. and then you're there with your classmates for 2 months doing more kitchen training on their campus, and then the last 2 months you get to go on a stage or like an internship, call it like an unpaid internship, and you can choose like the region of the country you want to go. And throughout the first 2 months you're there, you're getting they have chefs from different regions coming to do demos, like cooking demonstrations, like legit Michelin star chefs are coming to the school and giving you,
Wow.
demonstrate, like,
So you're getting best of the best knowledge right off the bat.
Yeah. And that was amazing to see. And you can get a real taste of like what each region kind of has to offer. We had a chef from Calabria, showcasing ingredients from that region, Alta Adige region, the Campania region, Puglia region, and I fell in love with pizza because I just loved the thought of like just doing one thing, but to like just doing it perfectly.
Just doing it really well.
Yeah. That was always I feel like that's my temperament right there, is just practicing one thing and doing over and over and over again until you perfect it. And I can make a career of this. I can do this for a long time.
Anybody who's got that mentality, you're going to excel at whatever you focus on.
Yeah.
Right. You dug in. You said, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Now I will give you some credit. You don't just do one thing well. Your meatballs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you brought them.
Yeah.
Meatballs. Have you ever had Rosie's meatballs?
I haven't had the meatballs. I always have, I always say, like, whenever I have meatballs, I'm always the hypercritic of them.
Yeah.
Especially, just like you, I grew up Italian American.
Yeah.
You're accustomed to a certain way that.
Take some of this ricotta too. Yes. So this is, we offer this with our meatballs as well. This is ricotta that we make and whip in house.
Heck yeah.
So
homemade cheese.
Meatballs are made better when they have ricotta.
Yeah.
So do you guys sell, aside from the meatballs and the pizza, do you have like a broad menu of things that you sell, or do you keep it in just that wheelhouse?
Right.
You want one?
I'll take one in a minute. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't even give him a chance to have a bite. I ate the whole slice while he was telling that story, like I was putting popcorn in my mouth.
Nice and quiet over here, and you were enjoying.
Yeah.
He didn't get to have a bite.
I was crushing it. It was really good. I am a huge fan of white pie, and my wife doesn't really like white pie, which is very aggravating to me because every time I go out for pizza and I want to get white pie, she's always like, I don't really want to have white pie. And I'm
right.
Like,
So you get one for yourself and bring home a ton.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think your theory is kind of, I'm always saying this, I've said it on previous shows as well, like with pizza, like there are sometimes that there are pizza places that their spectrum of menu is just far too broad. Like they're not even great at pizza.
Oh my God.
Right. And then you've got like 36 other menu items on there. And you're just at like a simple pizzeria, not a restaurant, just like a pizzeria. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the hypothetical restaurant.
Right.
And then, and I've said this like time and time again, then they use cheap product, like cheap cheese, like that, which is super aggravating to me if you make pizza, because then it's like, that's like one of your sole ingredients. How many times have I said that on the show? So for me, when I hear you say like, oh, I really excel at like honing in at one skill and then kind of sticking to that, kind of like resonates with me of why you have great pizza, or why even in your previous endeavor, moving to this one, the pizza is great on both sides.
Yeah. No, it's, I try to keep it as tight as possible. This new space is like evolving slowly. So,
keep introducing things.
Yeah.
That's not me saying a restaurant shouldn't have multiple things. Like I wasn't.
To me, less is more. And I love a restaurant with a small.
Yeah, when you look at a menu and you literally have 12 sections.
Yeah.
And you can't have high quality everything. You just can't.
I don't know how.
You have too much inventory, right? You have too much stock of stuff.
Some places will like cross utilize a lot of stuff, so they'll just have. And if you look at,
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
That's really good. It's a baked meatball, right? It's so moist.
Yep.
There's no dryness to it at all.
The ricotta is like such a elevated type of texture. It's not just, your typical heavy ricotta. It's smooth.
Yeah.
It's almost buttery, right?
The cheese is great.
Incredible. And if I had the meatball by itself, I would just be happy with that.
Can I? Yeah, and can I get this as a parm or whatever from you guys
Yeah,
too?
your sandwiches, right? You
You do like a
We do
meatball sandwich.
Yeah.
It's not like a traditional meatball parm,
Right.
but I think you'll like it. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good. I feel
Unbelievable.
Like I say that a lot.
Honestly, I've had a lot of meatballs, and I put it in my top 3 I've ever had.
Dude, it's
in my
almost
life.
like I want to say it. It's almost like the moisture of like a meatloaf.
Yeah.
Like a really good meat, like, but in a meatball. Like I don't know if that's. Don't take that like as it's not supposed to be. It's very succulent.
It's a compliment.
Yep. Yeah, no, it doesn't eat like your typical meatball.
No, the cheese is
That
phenomenal.
tends to be a little dried out. You know, meatballs sit there and simmer forever,
Mhm.
and then they either break apart, they don't hold their shape well, or they don't continue to suck in moisture, and they just have like a hard shell on them.
I'm a
Yeah,
big.
I mean, people say, "Oh, they taste like my grandmother's or my
Mhm.
Aunt
And that's like
Angie,"
the best thing you can hear, right?
And like, well, the secret is like that's because I make it like that. That's
Uh-huh.
there's no, I mean, I'll say here, I don't care. It's the secret is using regular bread, not breadcrumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's no.
Awesome.
It's probably the same.
I
mixture of
use breadcrumb in
ingredients.
my meatballs. That's this is interesting for me. What kind
Yes.
of bread?
Any kind of like regular like white bread you can
Mhm.
use. I wouldn't use Wonder Bread, but anything somewhat decent.
But
doesn't
that
have-
holds moisture a little bit better than just
Yeah.
like breadcrumb.
Yeah, I think
Breadcrumb you
it'll
can't
tend to-
hydrate to the
No.
point where it's like fluffy.
You
You
can,
can,
but
but
it's
it's-
just gonna. You're not gonna get that.
You're gonna
you can
reach a
soak
max
breadcrumb,
point
but,
faster.
You're not gonna have like those separation of layers almost
Right.
of flavor that you get when you use regular like cubed up bread.
So did you learn how to make these meatballs when you were out in Italy?
No.
This was
This was. I didn't really learn how to make much in Italy, to be honest. I was,
That's awesome.
I was too. I tell everybody I was too young when I went out there.
It was
to
more
really,
just about the experience.
Yeah. I got the stage I was at, the restaurant I was at was great. The people there were great. But if I had to do it again, I'd probably go to Rome, not Naples,
Yeah.
because I like their style pizza better. They're a
You
little
just
more,
didn't know enough when you were that age, right?
I
You
was,
didn't know
I was,
what you would like.
No, I was 21, 22.
Mhm.
I didn't appreciate, going to wine tastings at 10 o'clock in the morning like I would now. And
Have you
going
been back since you've been?
I haven't, no. So
Something you got to do, right?
I got 2 young kids right now, so
How old?
life's a lot different now. 5 and 3.
Oh wow.
I got
Yeah.
5 and 10.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it's all about
Busy.
them now, right?
It is at this point. That's really what it's all about.
Uh-huh.
They love pizza, I'm sure.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
How could you
Yeah.
not? If you had dad making this stuff,
Yeah.
you also get spoiled as a
Yeah.
kid that has a dad that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're fussy eaters right now, so
Sure.
I think
Yeah, 5 and 3.
You mean they don't have the appreciation for this homemade ricotta cheese?
Yeah.
so. No. My daughter has a dairy allergy, so she would not.
Oh, boo.
I know the guy who
No,
makes them.
no.
They're really
Yeah,
good.
they're really good.
Yeah.
Tell me about this cheese, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell
How
me
the
like
heck
the
did you-
secret to making it, but like, you do all this, and this is.
It's amazing.
It's not. It's almost like it's not even a taste of it, but the spread of it's like not a cheese. It's so like.
It's very creamy,
Yeah.
smooth texture. I've never had.
How do you do it?
I've never had ricotta that's this smooth.
What made you do it?
So I have a very talented team. This isn't. I have a very talented general manager who makes this, and I mean it's essentially just heavy cream and whole milk, and you heat it up to a certain point, and then you add an acid to it.
Mhm.
Usually, like a white distilled vinegar is the best way to do it, and the acid kind of makes it separate and curdle. So you take all the curds out, and you strain them, put them in a basket with cheesecloth, and let it drain. And then after about an hour or two, you put it in a food processor and just
That's it.
kind of whip it up. Throw some of the whey in it, the liquid left over, a little salt, and that's pretty much it.
Do you guys do it as
So-
a retail product too? Like in
Yeah.
like a little.
No, not yet.
Do you ever think about doing that? You know how you go into some
Eventually,
specialty
yeah,
stores
well,
and you can get stuff
yeah.
like that just by like the container?
He wants people coming in to
Yeah.
experience it there, though.
Yeah.
right?
No, we just
Yeah.
started a little market area.
Uh-huh.
dried goods.
Yeah.
So we're slowly gonna
I'm
gonna
getting
build
in
on
another
it.
meatball. These things are so freaking good. You want the last one?
I mean,
He had one already.
I'm not
so-
gonna say no. Neil had one.
Yes, he did. He smartly put it. Oops.
Oh,
Put it up
PJ.
on the rotating deal, and afterwards was like, "All right, this
That a
one's
boy,
mine."
Neil.
Yeah, smart.
That a boy.
But yeah, I had to enjoy another one of these.
Yeah, I'll wait for you to put your cheese on a dollop only.
Do a dollop.
Don't.
All right, I'll go over here. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, so you've been open 9 months now.
That's it.
How is business?
It's good. It's a big learning curve
Mm-hmm.
because it was, I open it thinking it's gonna be one thing and then it turns into something else. So you're just gonna have to. Okay, back to the drawing board. Here.
I'm not
That's
laughing
what
at
your
you.
plans, right?
I
This is
just-
going to plan.
as a business owner
Yeah.
of 2 businesses, like I can so relate to everything you're saying
Yep.
right now in
yeah,
life.
yeah,
Get this picture in your mind of what it's going to be,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, it's nothing like that."
Oh wow, it's not Rosie's with 10 more seats. It's
Right.
actually a restaurant.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I need to have like a manager. I need a host stand. I need a
Exactly.
hostess. I need servers. I need
Yep.
Um,
It's so much more intensive than just
Yeah.
come in, grab your pie, and see you later, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this isn't what
Then you have employee turnover and people
Mm-hmm.
don't say and they don't do a great job. And
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Yeah, I mean,
then they got their problems and they have a cold and this and that and
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
You know?
that's every business right
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
Dealing with that. So luckily, I got a really good team. My core group has been there since the beginning. So
Got some reliable people.
yeah, that's how I'm able to sit here right now. So
Yeah, the restaurant business is not for the faint-hearted, man. It's early mornings and late nights.
yeah, you
and-
gotta love it. You really do.
Yeah.
Give me your schedule.
and you
your
gotta
schedule.
work
Like
hard.
you wake up what time?
I wake up, my kids run into the room at 6 o'clock in the
Yep.
morning.
Okay.
And we get them out the door by 8 o'clock, 8:15.
So the one is pre-K or K?
They're still in pre-K.
Pre-K.
Yeah, she'll start kindergarten next year.
3-year-old is pre-K?
The 5-year-old, we kept her back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 3-year-old going anywhere or?
No, he's got another year or so. We're gonna keep him.
Gotcha. Okay. So what time do you get into your restaurant?
Depends on the day. So we do lunch Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just dinner Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm kind of, I've gotten to the point now where I can take on some like administrative roles.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I'm not necessarily caught up in production like I was in the beginning, which is kind of how I needed this
Which is great.
space to be designed.
Honestly, 9 months in and you're able to do that. That's a
Yeah.
feat. Because
Yeah.
I would think first couple of years
Yeah,
you're doing all that
grinding
grunt
the
work
kitchen.
every
Yeah.
time,
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm still there, like, just to make sure,
It's going well, yeah.
yeah, anybody needs anything.
But you've turned the reins over to somebody that can
Yeah.
do what you do.
Yeah, no, I've been fortunate to have a great group.
Where'd you find him or her? Who is it?
They found me, so they all kind of reached out to me before I even opened up the doors.
Yeah.
So just wanting to,
Wanting to help.
yeah, like they're professionals, and like this is a new cool spot opening up.
Yeah.
Just love to be a part of it, sort of thing.
Great.
So,
That's great.
you know,
When talent finds you, it means you're doing something right and they know about it.
yeah,
And,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the best case scenario, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Awesome. So 2025, are you looking at growth or different food options, or what's your thought process? Really getting a groove with what you're doing here and just
Yeah, we're still building.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent sized space, so
Yep.
we're still trying to grow into what we could potentially turn into. So we just started doing some catering, trying to build our lunch business a little bit more,
Yeah.
private events.
how was your first summer?
It was great. It started off a little rocky, I think.
I mean, it was your first summer in
yeah.
Belmar.
Yeah.
That's a big venture in itself, right?
Yeah. Towards the end, we started finding our footing. So I'm really, with getting your systems in place and
Learning
organization.
experience, right?
Yeah. So I think I'm really excited for this coming season because we're in such a better spot,
Yeah.
logistically and all that.
Well, now the reputation has been built. People know
Right.
Lucci exists.
Mhm.
They understand it transitioned from one to another, from point to here. Point still rocking and rolling. You're doing your thing. Yeah, at the end of the day, I have heard almost nothing but just rave things about Lucci. The dough itself, sourdough,
It's a hybrid.
hybrid. Okay,
So
I'm gonna
almost-
grab this one.
What is it? What is it?
So a hybrid is pretty much you're using.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude. You didn't know that
Ooh,
existed.
no, I did not. Sorry
All
to
right.
cut you off, Mike. The
no.
hybrid.
A hybrid dough is pretty much using
Man, I want the
a certain
boy.
percentage of natural starter and a percentage of commercial yeast. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with when you do that.
Separates so easily. All right. So tell us more about the hybrid situation.
You just did. You missed it.
I missed it.
You were
'Cause
so
I'm-
busy.
I'm,
Poor Mike has got to say the whole story all over again. Go ahead,
Yeah, well,
Mike.
come on.
We'll edit this part
Yes.
like it happened the first time. This is the first time, everybody. Mike, tell me about the hybrid sourdough.
So, so a hybrid is pretty much using
you.
a certain percentage of natural starter and commercial yeast.
Yeah.
So natural starter can be a little finicky. You have to make sure if you're exclusively using natural starter, you got to make sure you're on like a regimented schedule with feeding it because it's like a living organism.
Right.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but like
I'm not at all. This is like
No, yeah, okay,
chemistry,
so-
bro. Like I'm like
so you pretty much
enamored.
take flour and water, and then you pretty much let it ferment, and all like the natural yeast that's in the air kind of inoculates it, and
Oh my God.
you start to pretty much develop this culture that you can use to leaven dough. They thought that it was only exclusive out in San Francisco back in the day. That's like San Francisco sourdough, but they realized, oh, this yeast is all over the world. It's everywhere. So anybody can make it. So, and it gives the dough like certain characteristics flavor wise, just like it's a pre-ferment. So, some of your dough is already pre-fermented and it just brings out flavors that you necessarily wouldn't get with just using regular yeast. You can make great pizza with just regular yeast, but it really, at the end of the day, it's what you want.
Right.
But if you don't follow that schedule with the natural starter, your rise time, fermentation time can become a little unpredictable. And, when you're running a business, you want to make sure everything is pretty much on time, running like
consistent.
clockwork.
Yeah, it's possible.
Even with the addition of yeast, it's
Right.
still, there are some days like the dough should have been cut an hour ago. You thought it should have been ready an hour ago, but now it's a few degrees cooler in here, or the water was a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
But the addition of commercial yeast kind of gives a little reassurance that the dough is going to rise. So
Right.
that's
This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And you know what's even crazier to me about this? And Neil, I want you to rewind this whole episode and go back to the very beginning of the episode before I even got to know Mike, and I called him Dr. Pizza.
Yep.
And he's literally Dr. Pizza.
Absolutely.
Like this is-
It's
like I've never had somebody sit down at pizza time and then tell me like the chemistry
Process of how to make the
of
dough.
the reaction of how to do it right.
Dude, I love it because at the end of the
Wait.
day, there's 1,000 ways to make a pizza,
Never.
but your pizza is very different. It's
Yeah.
definitely technique, and
Like-
it's not just quality of ingredients. Quality of
Yeah,
ingredients.
that's
is
what I
one
was trying to
step.
emphasize.
Yeah,
is the science of it is there behind it.
Yeah, I was a head brewer,
Mhm.
so a lot of what you're saying very similar to me.
it resonates with
When it comes to writing a recipe, how to execute the recipe, I could give 10 people my recipe, and they would come out with 10 different versions.
of
that
yeah,
beer.
Yeah. If I showed you the dough formula for this,
Yeah,
it would look like every dough recipe you'd see in a cookbook or so. It's just
Exactly.
how you execute it, like
Yep.
little nuances, like how you handle it,
Yep.
a little tweak in the hydration, like the combination of flours that you use. So it all, you can, like I said, like I can give, 10 people the same recipe and say, make it, and you're going to get 10 very different looking.
exactly. And
Nice.
I mean, it's just experience and time and understanding what you're holding and what you're doing.
It's a lot of intuition
Exactly.
in it. That's
And
why
then you're
it
saying, I
makes
need
it so
a little
hard.
bit more of this, little more time, little less time, little more hydration.
Yeah, because this isn't an exact science,
No.
Because it's a living thing. It's a lot of it's intuition. It's just knowing. It's just having that
Which
gut
is very
feeling.
Italian. Because
Yeah.
the Italian is you cook by feel and sense and taste and love, and
Yeah.
you know,
Most ingredients.
a regimented recipe is not needed.
No.
It's it needs a little bit more of this.
No,
a little
nothing.
less of that.
Nothing was written down in my
Exactly.
family.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep, my mother too. My mother would sit down, make a meal, and I would go, "Well, what's the recipe for that?" And she'll go, "I don't know. It's up here." Like
Little this,
you
little
know.
that. Just some of this.
Yeah,
So,
and then I think it needs a little bit of this. Yep,
Yeah.
that's it. You know.
mhm.
Yeah, it's instinct.
What do you think
It is.
about as a pizza connoisseur? This is a very Jersey thing. The fold. They only do this here in New Jersey and New York, by the way. Like the fold.
I like the fold. The
You're
fold is,
a fan of the fold?
yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
serves a
think the fan
purpose.
is the way to go.
Yeah.
Went to college in the Midwest, and
And they were like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, they don't fold pizza.
You just like eat it like
Yeah,
flat,
yeah.
hanging out like that. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It just seems practical to fold it.
It's why the Midwest is not known for pizza,
Yeah,
right?
they have places like Donato's, which is like a version of Papa John's,
Yep.
and like Papa John's, and like this weird gourmet pizza called Basbo, and it's like I came from here, went there. It was like
Yeah.
a culture shock. Like aside from the fact that you can't get all the rest of the regular Italian food, you have to go to like some chain restaurant, like like a version of Olive Garden to get Italian food in general.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're stuck up here; we just have great food here,
Yep.
you know, in this area
it's,
specifically.
We're very lucky in that sense. There's a lot of really high quality versions of different styles of food around here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes from New York. You know, you had a lot of people that emigrated right to New York City or to New Jersey. And it's just influenced by so many different nationalities. And we do a lot of things well here.
Yeah. Yeah. This area in particular, like the Northeast.
Yep.
You know, because I'm third generation, and you know, I just feel like, you know, everyone just kind of came over and settled here. It's that's why like this area has such a strong culture, particularly with Italian food.
Yeah.
That you won't find. You can find great Italian food in Chicago, I'm sure, or in Texas,
You can
but it's
find
not.
great Italian food in a lot of places, but not a lot of it.
Yeah.
Here, you could throw a rock in a different direction and go, that place is awesome.
Yep.
You know?
Every strip mall's got a pizzeria.
Right?
Yeah.
And most of them are
Yeah,
average
that's
to above average.
That's
Yeah.
a diluted market.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
It is.
But that's why I think we love having pizza spots on our show, because the ones we bring on are doing
They're
something
excellent, yeah.
different. They're doing something just elevated, a step above the rest.
What do you? I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean
no,
to
no,
cut
go
you off.
for it,
No,
go
no,
for it.
no. I was going to totally shift. So finish out your thought.
Okay. So when we bring on these different companies, it's not just your basic pizza. Nobody's bringing on just a round pie. and
No,
we're
everybody's
saying,
been
"Ooh,
great."
This is, you know, we've had 1 million slices of round basic pie. You coming on with the rectangle pizza, that was just a different experience, right?
And it was white pie. It was
Completely
great.
different.
Glad I bought it. I was on the fence, like, do I need to bring one? I'll bring it. Yeah. So
More's always better here.
Never
But,
go wrong with pizza with me ever.
Absolutely not. But I've been excited for 2 weeks knowing that you were coming in, because I know that this is what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
This is it, man. You're not just checking in and checking out of work every day.
No, you talk about pizza like I talk about the studio, you know.
Exactly.
So I can.
And we have that passion, and we see it in others. You know, he's here day and night because he's very passionate about audio, video, just a people person, you know, kind of allowing people to come together and do what they're passionate about, which is what makes a podcast studio so cool.
yeah.
You know, you just get different people in here, all walks of life every day that do whatever they do and do it well. And then they talk about it and they're so excited.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
So what I was going to ask you about is your ovens,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Are you doing fire style pizza, coal? Is it regular ovens?
I'm looking right at
You
the
know?
oven. If this is the oven you use, right?
Is it a brick oven?
No, that's a good old gas oven right there.
Oh, so okay, so it's a regular pizza
So,
oven.
Yep. It's not a regular. It's a.
Don't call it regular.
I'm sorry.
Damn you, I'm leaving.
So very sorry, Mike.
No, people come in all the time. They look at the ovens like, is that coal? Is that gas? Like, no, it's a gas oven. So, but it's actually like designed like a bread oven would be. So
Which is what, convection style? Is it like is it?
So it's like a lot more. They're kind of awkward because they're so like. Most pizza ovens are like rectangular and relatively shallow.
Yeah.
And they're easy to fit when you're designing a space. These were like very deep.
Yeah.
So it took a little finagling to design out the kitchen where they were going to go. But they're gas ovens, and what makes them different than a regular pizza oven is that they are it's like a mini tube oven. It's so there's if you look inside the oven, you can't look inside the oven, but there are coils wrapped around each deck. So there's 2 ovens. Each oven has 3 decks, and each deck is wrapped around in tubing, and steam runs through those tubes.
Nice.
So and there's a boiler underneath, and that creates a really awesome, consistent bake.
I was just going to say it's consistent every.
Yeah, you're getting
not getting hot spots.
Yeah, you're getting. I mean, there's no perfect oven. It's still, you still have to finagle it a little bit. The bottoms get cool after a while, but you're getting heat from the sides, the back, the top. It's not just convecting from the bottom from jets.
Yep.
And I had electric ovens in the old space, but I didn't have the amperage, the power to put those ovens in, and I wasn't going to sign a lease, betting on it that I'm not going to drop $150 trying
especially
to
when you don't own the
panel.
building, right? Yeah, of
it was
course.
a much bigger building too. So, so I found an alternative. I talked to a few people in the industry, like what their thoughts were on good gas ovens, and there's some good companies out there, but this one kind of stuck out.
What's the brand?
Empire.
Empire.
So they're the importer. They're from Italy. I don't care about that stuff like Italian ovens, all that. It's we make good ovens here, but
it's
they just happen to.
It was just exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah,
for the functionality.
Yeah, and they're based out of Hicksville, New York. So we took a ride out there. We tested them out, and they're great.
Which is probably part of the integral to part of the success of the product, right? As well.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I was like, all right, the ovens are like the cornerstone of the business. So
yeah,
I definitely splurged on those. It's like we're gonna get. I'm past the point of like buying something on the side of the road, something used.
Yeah, spend the money, get it
right.
So
Yeah. It was, it's to me it was a smart investment because they're also I can also bake bread in there. There's steam injection.
Yeah, they're the workhorse. There's the rest of the building is built around it.
Bake the meatballs in there. We do everything.
It's the same mentality of the cheese on top of the pizza. Why skimp on that?
Yeah,
right?
it's your main product.
This is going to be your feature. This is why your pizza is the way it is. You're going to cook it the way you want
It's
to
really
cook
good.
Yeah,
it is really good.
But you do it with some char on it, which I think is just so integral to make a good pizza because the dynamics now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting so many different flavor profiles at the same time.
Yeah.
People that like a pasty white pizza, to me, it's rudimentary. It's boring, right?
It's basic vanilla Americana.
It's fine if that's what you like. That's fine. But
a lot of people like vanilla ice cream too, but I don't. I like some flavor. You know? And I just think the melted cheese that creates like that extra crunch on there. And then your fresh Parmesan that you put on at the end. Yeah. There's that Parmigiano Reggiano.
There's provolone cheese melted in there as well.
And then the fresh basil, like all of that. If you don't like that stuff, go get yourself a basic pie.
It's fine,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a world for you there. A lot of places do it.
Yeah.
But man, what you're doing is just
it's delicious.
It's so good.
Tell me about the location itself. I know I could look it up on Google, but where precisely is it in Belmar? Is it on Main Street? Is it?
It's in Belmar Plaza. So it's right by Hogito's 10th Ave Burrito.
Yeah, we had Hogito's on.
So that's right by where Tara opened up her hot mess.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're kind of like behind that almost. I think she's in the plaza.
She is, and then there's that restaurant that's right behind her.
Brandel.
Yeah.
So we're in the plaza right behind
On the other side of the parking lot?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like 2 doors down from.
So there's
from
parking.
Tech.
It's easy to get to. That's even better of a sell right
Like you
there
said,
for
the
me.
train,
Yup.
jump
Train's
off
right
the
there.
train,
Yeah.
walk right to it.
Yeah.
Are you BYO at your spot or?
We are. Yeah.
Awesome. That's even better. That
Yeah.
saves you money.
Yeah.
You go to
no.
the liquor store right on the corner,
You
get
got
yourself a
restaurant.
bottle
You got
of wine.
counter pie also,
Yeah.
right? So you can come in for a slice.
Yeah. Slices we do just for lunch. So
Nice.
it's all-
Slices for lunch, and you do
Yeah.
like an array of pies or like 4 different pies, and
We do 3. So we'll do
Okay.
the spinach pie.
which is
We'll
excellent.
do
Get
a
it?
pepperoni, and then we'll do just a plain square.
Yeah.
And,
Awesome.
No reason to overdo it.
No.
no, you end up throwing so much
No.
out at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean that probably kills you to throw things.
I hate
away, right?
that.
Actually, I don't
Anyways.
like the dilution of it anyway. Like, I don't like when I go to a counter and I see a chicken
12
parm
options,
pie, a buffalo chicken pie, a penne pie, a cheese
it's
pie,
not, like,
this pie.
It's not
that-
New York. You know,
Yeah.
we're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not getting so much foot traffic that 12 pies busts out of here
No.
in
and
20
then it
minutes.
sits
like New
there
York.
for 4 hours. And
That's what I think. If
Yeah.
I see too much in the window in a Jersey
Yeah.
store, I'm
100%.
like, how long has that been sitting?
It's a big deterrent for me from getting slices. As a kid growing up, I'm a little bit older, probably older than you, close to age in PJ. But as a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, like we used to ride our bike up to the local pizza place up the block from us. And that was our main source of food. Pizza by the slice,
Yeah.
Right.
right? But that whole, like, that was just either plain pie. It was mostly just plain pie is the only pie that they really had. Round plain pie by the slice at the pizza place.
Yeah.
But it was on point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It didn't
Yep.
sit for 4 hours.
Yeah.
There's not 600 different options of pie.
Yeah. Too much is too much. You
People
said
don't
that.
want too many options at the end of the day. I think.
It gets overwhelming.
Yeah, and you're always going to have something that customers are going to come in looking for something you don't have anyway.
Yeah.
So you're never going to make everybody happy.
And most of the time, if they're looking for something you don't have, you say, I'll make it in a full pie.
Yes, have a
Yeah.
seat. I'll have a pie out 15 minutes.
That's it.
Do you do custom pies based on the toppings that people want?
We do. That's not a battle. I have the strength to fight. So I would love. I would love to have like a set menu.
Yeah,
of
like here's 8 pies.
no
choose
alterations,
between-
this
exactly.
and that. But
Right.
it's not worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I can hit you up and be like, yeah, I want a pie with pepperoni, onions, and bacon on it. And you'd be like, all right, we can make that happen.
Well, we don't have bacon, but we can put sausage on it.
Sausage.
Or, we
Alright.
can
Alright, like
put
meat.
guanciale on it
Okay.
for a nice upcharge. But that's about it. So,
What if we bring in the bacon?
Nah.
Yeah.
I did that. Yeah.
What if I bring the bacon?
I used to do that at Rosie's for a hot second. I got a few friends who were, a few customers that would come in that were vegan and like, oh, do you have like vegan cheese, vegan
No.
this and that?
pizza.
I was like, I don't have it, but
Bring it in. I'll use
bring it in. I'll put it on for you.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know why. A few people did it. Like they would come in with their cheese. Here you go, and I'd make it for them. And I don't think I ever like burnt one by accident or ripped one, but that was always the thing. It's like I'm not.
Yeah,
doing this.
now
I'm not doing
using
this
your
anymore because
ingredient.
this really expensive like cashew cheese you just brought in that
Cashew
you paid
cheese.
like $20 for.
Is that what they eat?
I don't.
We
I
can cut
think
this
you can
out. Don't
make-
worry.
I think
Say
you
whatever
can make-
want.
Yeah, tell us. Go
So,
ahead.
tell us.
I'm trying to think what.
I'm having one more
But
slice. man.
cashews don't make cheese, bro.
Yeah, cashews don't make cheese.
You can get milk from it. You can get cheese from it. I don't know.
Can you get milk from me, fucker?
Yeah. That's crazy.
I saved up so many calories. I'm like, dude, I got more. Let me eat some more.
I think you can't. I don't know, man. That's a
But
tough.
yeah, let's
that's a
just,
tough client base.
You give them you give them the chance to bring their cheese in, and then you do it wrong, like you said. You burn it.
And we do a really good like marinara pie, no cheese. I should have brought one with me.
next time.
Next time. So like if
I'm gonna come in for
no
pizza.
dairy, that's not a problem. Like we can
Absolutely.
we have vegetables that we can put on it. But we do a really good no cheese pie. So it's just like tomatoes,
Love that.
olive oil,
Awesome.
garlic, really nice oregano, fresh basil,
Going on.
and like that's gonna be you're gonna enjoy that more than
And that's in
Any
more
kind
in
of, like,
line with the
substitute.
Italian pie, is it not? Like a regular from the country itself. Isn't their pie more based on that premise? Fresh tomato on
It's
top.
more focused on
Yeah.
the dough. Right?
Yeah, and dough, right?
yeah.
That's why they do more.
I mean, not that you
crust.
remember from
think so,
Italy, but
yeah.
I'm just
They put hot dogs. I've seen hot dogs on the pies there.
That's
yeah, like
disgusting.
little Vienna sausages.
no.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's a no for me. You wouldn't put bacon on a pie for me. Now we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Spam sausages.
I would try it. I would.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of bacon on pizza too. But this is like gourmet pizza. This
Yeah.
is like do it your way.
No, we're gonna come in.
Yeah.
My wife and I are always seeking pizza places. I think the most, and I've said this on multiple shows with other people, one of the most disappointing things to me is getting a bad pie.
Yeah.
We live here in North End or North Side, Tinton Falls.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of great pizza places around here. Sorry, guys. Like it's really not great pie. So we're constantly seeking good pie. We travel for pie. We make it like a specific night. Like, let's go get pizza. I don't care what the destination is.
Right.
So actually just last week, it's funny because we should have came to you. But last week we went to Crispy
Crispy pizza.
Pizza
You ever
in
hear of them?
Freehold.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
They started in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They still have Brooklyn.
They have that. They're like big on social media.
Oh,
The
yeah,
father
yeah.
is
I
the
follow
father and son. So and I'm sure that flagship location probably has the superior pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. It was good. It was good.
But it wasn't knock your
wasn't
socks
like
off.
this was the best pizza I ever had kind of feeling
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
left there. It was good. But we're gonna come in. We're gonna come
Yeah.
in. I won't see you though, since you're just in the admin position and you don't interface with the peons of.
No, I do.
Version.
I still do. But, yeah, crispy pie. Yeah,
I'll
crispy
text you
pizza
ahead
there.
of time and say we're coming in.
Yeah, that's what you
Definitely
have to
come
do.
in.
I'll make sure I'm there.
Fantastic though, man. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Thank you for the pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
The awesome swag too.
Yep.
I was just gonna wear it and be part of the team for the night, and then I was like, maybe I'll wear it on the next
I'm
show.
rocking this thing on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little
I like the
walking,
long
walking
sleeve.
billboard.
Yeah,
for you.
that was a nice touch right
Yeah.
there.
I was like, let me bring you. Yeah, it has a few things.
Thank
I had regular short sleeved shirts, but the long sleeve ones are really nice.
Long sleeve is quality, man.
Yeah.
T-shirt is like, man.
Yeah.
Long
Dude,
sleeve
I'm
is like,
happy.
all right.
I'm in like a little bit of a food coma.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten pizza. Like I said, I had one pizza. I had round pie from Freehold,
Yeah.
which is probably one of the better chains around.
What
Round pie.
Oh, that's the name of the chain?
Yes, it's
I
called
thought you were
Round
just telling
Pie.
me I had a round
No,
pie.
I had a round pie.
Oh.
No, it's called round pie, but there's one in Brick. There's one in Freehold. There's a couple around. But
Don't worry, we're gonna edit this out, Mike, because we're not gonna have
Fantastic.
this on the same
but
show as you.
for a chain,
Yeah.
they're solid. But I said that's the only pizza I've had since we had our last pizza show, which was months ago.
Which was
I have
yeah.
been missing it, and this just hit.
This was great.
Freaking Hit
Awesome.
it out of the park.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
been a real pleasure having you here, dude.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't been there yet, Belmar, New Jersey, Lucci. It's called Pizzeria Lucci. They've been open since March. Absolutely incredible. Get your butt there.
Bring a bottle
then
of wine.
Bring a bottle of wine. Have a really nice dinner. Get the meatballs while you're there.
Yes, and the cheese.
Outrageous.
Get the ricotta.
Get the
meatballs.
ricotta. Yes, yes, that is so good.
I'm gonna lick this container after the show.
Yeah.
I'm thankful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
man.
thanks
Merry
again, Mike.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
You too.
We'll see you guys in 2025. I hope you guys go and see Mike at Lucci.